They are a little late in doing it. Okay. Last one, we're going to talk about renting a vehicle. And guys, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm guessing none of you have rented a vehicle before. Normally, you got to be 21 to rent a vehicle. They just don't want you to do it. But when you rent, it's a shorter term than a lease. One day, a couple hours, a week or so. I've never rented a vehicle longer than a week. I don't know. I'm sure there's people out there that have. But the last time we rented a vehicle, other than when we had a car wreck and you had nothing to drive, in which case the insurance would pick up rental if you got rental reimbursement. My son was graduating from basic AIT over in North Carolina, and I did not want to take my car to beat it up with all the miles, so we rented a car. That way, hey, they say nothing corners like a rental. You would do stuff in a rental car you'd never do in your car because it would destroy your car, so let somebody else's car do it. But again, normally a month or less, oftentimes a couple days, especially if you're renting a car or truck for moving. So this doesn't necessarily have to be a car. It could be, you can rent a trailer, you can rent stuff. They are looking for, now, this may be confusing as you go. On your rental, you have something where they are charging you cost per mile, and then they're asking you what is the cost per mile. So there's two separate costs per mile. When they're charging you the cost per mile, they're actually charging you so much money for the number of miles you drive. You can have unlimited miles, you could have 200 miles, anything over that, they're going to charge you, or they can say 20, 30, 50 cents a mile. Okay, so there's several versions of this, but that is being charged for. And then just like when we did the maintenance and operating of the vehicle, back a couple sections, you can actually do the math for what does it cost to drive it per mile. Now, when you rent a car, and I'd stomp up and down and jump up and down because this happened to me once. When you rent a car, when you check out the car, they will give you a contract, go check the car out. You check it out. I mean, look, if there's a scratch on the paint, you record it. If there is a nick on a window, you record it, because when you turn it back in, they're going to go check this out. And if you did not record one little scratch, don't be surprised if you get a bill for them to repair that. And if you got the car, record what the gas gauge shows on it, because when you turn that car back in, if the gas gauge is not that high or higher, they will give their keys to one of their workers and say, go fill up the car, and you will get a bill for the gas. Now, when we rented a car, when I got out of the Army and we drove, we rented a truck and we drove from Fort Hood, Texas to Baton Rouge with the truck. They did that to us. And at the time, gas prices were $1.20, $1.30 a gallon. They give the keys. They go out and fill up the truck. They did not charge us $1.20 per gallon, guys. They charge us like $4 or $5 a gallon, because you not only pay for the gas when they go fill up the tank, but you pay for the fact that they're taking somebody to go fill up the tank. And they're not going for the cheapest gas place. So when you go, part of the rental is I'm paying for gas, and the last thing you do is you put gas in the car before you turn it in. You do not turn in the car until you put some gas in. We rented, my sister-in-law was moving from here up to Oklahoma City, and she rented a truck to transport stuff up there. The nearest gas station was like 5 miles from the place where you turn it in. It's one of those run up, fill it up, and drive quickly and shut the engine off as soon as you could, because that truck ate gas. So you want to make sure you had enough gas to be okay. They will hit you on it. So on question number 1, Winona Perry rents a car for $30 a day for 4 days. and plus 22 cents a mile per mile. She does not need CDW. CDW is collision damage waiver. It is insurance for the car. If I'm renting the car for 4 days and I'm getting the collision damage waiver, I get it for 4 days. Some cars, if you have personal insurance for your car, sometimes your car will cover if you drive a rental car, so you don't have to get it. But if you don't have insurance, you better get the collision damage waiver, because otherwise you're paying for that car if you have a wreck. Collision damage waiver covered. So you're not getting it on this. You don't have to worry about it. She's getting 22 cents per mile, and she drove 430 miles.
$94.26.
Thank you. Okay, and then, so the price for the car would be $120 for the daily rental, $94.60 for the mileage, and $59 for the gas. $59.90 for the gas. So the total amount I'm going to pay for the rental is $274.50. So that's the total cost. And then they ask for cost per mile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this $274.50 and I'm going to divide it by the 430 that I drove, and that will give me cost per mile. Now, when we talked about maintaining and operating a vehicle, I told you the cost per mile should be under about 50 or 60 cents, guys. On a rental vehicle, your cost per mile could be $2 or $3. Hopefully it's not, but it can be, okay? Also, as you're reading through these questions, okay, be careful of the fact that I get 50 miles free, but I drove 100 miles. When you get the cost per mile, you go by how much you drove, not how much you get charged for. So, and also look for the round trip. You know, it's a round trip from where we are. We're driving 1,000 miles, and I'm turning the car back in when I come back. Well, you had to drive 1,000 miles out times 2. You had to, the total miles gonna be 2,000 miles. So keep in mind that. So if you have individual questions, I will answer them. This is it. Last worksheet we're doing. When you're done with this, make sure it's turned in. Tomorrow we're doing computer assignments, and the day after we're doing a test. You can start turning your notebook in tomorrow after you turn in the computer assignments. And those of you who are graduating, if you want, whenever you're ready to go after the day, if you want to go, let me know. We'll adjust. Okay.